Hey everyone, welcome to GrayManPrepping. It is time for one of my favorite times, Tactical Tuesday, tactics, gear, and more. We'll be having an interesting conversation tonight. Tonight's topic, though, is store what you eat. Why it's more important now more than ever. And let me get over here and bring everybody up. Okay. So I got Uncle Al over here and Courtney down there. Uncle Al's not a prepper. He's a survivalist. And Courtney is the chicken whisperer, and she has a heck of a garden, too. And so since we're dealing with food, I'm bringing everybody together in on this. I've come across some scary information, but it's only scary if you don't prepare for it.
First, I want to say, how are you doing, Uncle Al? You were not well. Are you better?
I'm losing all my teeth on top
sorry.
because of a bacterial infection. And then I'm going to lose 2 more on the bottom. And I'm fighting everybody. It's like 3rd year of SHTF and 2nd year of World War III. And everything's going down the drain. But I'm still alive.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that's happening. That sucks.
Yeah. All righty. So let's say hi to everybody in here. And the first one in was CR. And he put in note to self, eat before live stream. Then Moon Over Miami came in. And then Uncle Al made comments in there. And we were talking back and forth there. And let's see, Kaylin Strain's in the house. Snakebite is here. And Pat Small, greetings. CR's in here again. Rex First, Wolf, Pinky, Sat, Maternity, Clueless, Gang. Okay, that's a name. And let's see what else we got here. Who else? Trying to catch. Everybody's talking. So Duncan 1900 Homestead is here. And everyone's talking good. Pastor McQuaddy's in the house. Thank you for, Pastor McQuaddy, once again, thank you for those slippers from me 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. Still wearing them. They're great. Let's see, Idaho Garden Girl is here. Of course, Courtney, White Family Farm, is making comments in the side chat there. Lewis, it's the Marshmallow Man. And let's see here. Making sure I'm not missing anybody. Hello, Tofu's in the house. And Shawnee Shade is here. And I think I'm caught up here. All righty. So I had this topic on the books months ago. Because, it's one of those things I noticed people were, we're talking about stuff they're getting, and oh man, I got a bunch of this stuff, and then we tried it and we didn't like it. So it's like, store what you eat what you store. If you don't like it, don't store it. Well, some other things popped up in the last 2 weeks. All have been in the news. A lot of the channels, some of the channels have been talking about it. The first one was India is banning the export of all rice. Wrong. They're just banning the export of white rice.
Basmati.
Yeah, and that's the stuff that the common everyday man, it's the cheapest rice they produce. And they had some problems with their rice crop, so they're banning the export of that because they're trying to keep it at home, lower the prices, make it easier on their citizens. Then they banned the export of all sugar. Basically, they've been having they've had problems with their sugar production, and Uncle Al filled me in beforehand about this. 2 years ago, India's been doing sugar beets. Well, sugar beets is good for several things. A, you get the sugar out of it. B, the green tops can go to feed animals and stuff. And then the beet, after then squeezing it and doing it, juicing it and everything, can be used to feed animals. Well, somebody got the bright idea, hey, let's put in sugar cane. It's sweeter, it's nicer, and it failed. Big time.
Sugar cane takes 3 years to grow. I keep telling this to people. Beets only takes about 1 year.
Yeah.
1 year. Yeah. Actually, beets take 4 months.
Yeah, right. Sugar beets don't take very long.
No. Yeah. But the big problem with the beet situation was they wanted cane sugar because it's a more refined sugar and you get molasses and stuff out of it. It's easier to grow. But they goofed up on their weather prediction. We went from El Nino to El Nino, and that fried all the sugar cane. They just
Yeah, and then China is experiencing some crop failures as well. So they're buying stuff up outside and importing it. Then this week, or when was it? I guess Friday or so, I heard it. Friday, or was it? Actually, it may have been Sunday. Tyson Foods, Tyson Chicken, is closing down 4 of their processing plants. And then they give the spiel, we're consolidating, we're doing this, but basically they're laying off over 3,000 people. Froze. So we're consolidating, we're doing this, we're doing that, and to make us more efficient and stuff. They've been closing things. Realistically, I went back and did some research on it here. They've been closing 1 or 2 plants a year for the last 3.5 years.
Yeah, ever since the apocalypse.
Before the apocalypse. Before the Red Dragon came in.
I didn't notice that. You didn't notice it until after.
Yeah, because it was like 1 plant here, 1 plant there, 1 plant there, and 6 months another plant. They didn't make an announcement. We're going to be doing 4 in the next 6 months. So that came out, and then today I heard about what Smithfield Meats is doing. Smithfield used to be an American company. They're now wholly owned by the Land of the Red Dragon. They're closing 35 hog farms.
That's awful convenient, don't you think?
Yeah, and they're in multiple states across the country. I forget which Midwest state it was. They said they were losing 12.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if you like certain foods, and they might be on the list of stuff having problems with, you might want to think about storing a little extra. Now, don't run out and panic, because when it came down to the sugar and stuff, where is Modern Refugee at? Minnesota?
Yeah. No, Michigan.
Michigan. He goes, we got plenty of sugar beets growing up here. We got tons of sugar beets, and they're planting more because somebody was paying attention to what was going on over there in India. And they said, we better plant more because they're going to have a big snafu over there. Mm-hmm. And so, Iowa. That's it. That's right, Kaylin. Iowa was one of the ones that's losing a lot, and Arkansas is one that's losing it. Snakebite says they're losing 2 in Missouri, and so
I wish that was a thing where South Africa would really wake up, because they are heavy producers in sugarcane, and we could totally trade with them instead of trading with other countries, and we could help out their country because it's like destitute. And so we could totally.
But like Chris White says in his videos down there, we start trading with them. All we're going to do is make the rich upper class more rich down there. Now, so the only thing how the sugar shortage in India is going to affect us they're still exporting their fancy sugar over here because not fancy sugar, the fancy rice over here because most of their people don't like the fancy rice.
Right, it's jasmine.
Yeah,
That's the fancy rice that we import.
But that's so weird because most people do like jasmine rice. They prefer
right, but
here, not there.
Not there.
Here they like it because we have a lot of it. Jasmine rice is specific for Southeast Asian culture, and I saw a bag yesterday, $55 for a 50-pound bag of jasmine rice.
Really? Because I just bought I just saw some in the store a couple of days ago. Yeah. And it was like $20 for a 20-pound bag or something like that. Right. It wasn't very much.
But Courtney lives in Ohio. I live in Cali, the screwed up state.
Yeah.
So you have to, because California has that weird import rice tax thing. And then what else they do to rice?
And because of all
anything that encroaches on California's rice crop, any other rices, they tax the heck out of it coming in.
Yeah.
Right.
Isn't Louisiana also a big producer of rice?
Yes.
And could they produce enough for the rest of the country?
It's going to be hard because it's California, Louisiana, I forget, Mississippi, Alabama. They produce all rice, but you see, we had the floods this spring. Tullaramie Lake, we're not going to have sriracha peppers because the plant's underwater and the peppers field's underwater. We won't have rice because, it's under 15 feet of water of green slime and a lot of bugs. And all you see is the telephone pole. They just flew over it last week. It's on YouTube, folks, if you want to see that.
Yeah.
The only thing got saved was Colquhoun Prison. The water receded, so it's gathered.
Yeah, when I was back in California 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago, my youngest son bought 4, 5 50-pound bags of rice. He goes, "Oh, there's going to be a problem with it." I go, and I'd heard a little bit, whisperings from India about India beforehand. I go, "Oh, that's just the stuff they keep there for their people," But so he bought those bags, put them in 5-gallon buckets, with the liner, and sealed them all up and everything else. So, but
surprise.
And he and my wife were arguing over it. She goes, "We don't eat that much rice." "Yeah, we do." "No, we don't." She goes, "I go through this 10-pound box of minute rice probably every 3 months."
Marshmallow Man, you don't have to cut down. You just have to watch the prices. And if the prices are too high, then don't buy.
Yeah.
Right. And hi, Jordan. Moon over Miami, it depends on the type of rice. I go to an Asian market. It's the Lion brand that's the most expensive. That comes straight from India. It's $55. It's like heart attack season.
One of the things that ties into, I wanted to tie in with the topic tonight, before the extra news thing broke out about Tyson and Smithfield. My daughter, prior to us realizing that Smuckers had changed their formula and pulled most of the sugar out of their strawberry jam and loaded it with high fructose corn syrup, had stocked up a boatload. And so we went through her storage, and it's like, crap, this is all the new stuff that has high fructose corn syrup. So she's getting the Smuckers and Welch's Natural for the oldest son who's got just lost it, autism. And because when he has high fructose corn syrup, it really affects him. He'll start banging his head on the table and just it really sets him off. And so she's feeding the other stuff to the other ones. And I was just down there checking her store. She still has a dozen bottles to go, or jars of the strawberry jam. I told her, check with, see if anybody in town, just tell them you're overstocked and you need to get rid of some of the jam. And, because it's not good for the other kids either. And so she's going to see if anybody else in town wants to buy it, or she can then spend the money on the more natural stuff. But when you're stocking what you eat, make sure what you like and what you eat is healthy for you. Some cereals and some other products have stuff in it that's not good for you, such as maltodextrin, which is super, 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 super refined wheat or rice. It's refined at a point that WebMD and several other online medical sources say don't use it. It's bad for you. And now there's studies coming out with that, and they keep the conglomerate that is running maltodextrin is trying to bad press it.
Yeah.
Hey Nana, how's it going?
Hey Nana. It's also Lily Miller that does what Gil says, that rice type sugar.
Yeah.
It's like, God, they make nerve gas and now they're doing kids cereal.
Yeah. All right, we had a couple more come in here. We got Rachel Knight from Hawaii. Hey Rachel. And we got Mary Beth Smith and we got Sue Ladine. Welcome. Yes, my wife made me some apricot jam, some low sugar apricot jam. And the next batch she was going to try this year, except I was there, so I ate them all. I ate all the apricots when I was there on and off for a month or so. She was going to try using honey as a sweetener for it. And of course, I put Shadow Scout's name up there. Shadow Scout's here from Sweden. Yeah, Shadow Scout Swede kind of clues you in there. But there is a lot. She's back on the mainland. No more Hawaii. Maryland. Oh, she's now on the East Coast. Okay. All right. So when you're looking at what you're going to be storing to eat, you also got to watch out for what's in the news. If you hear the first glimmer of some stories of problems elsewhere for a specific crop, such as rice, but mainstream media is not publicizing it yet, and you were thinking about adding a little extra rice to your stores, do it.
Honestly, I hope mainstream media doesn't advertise it yet.
Oh, it is.
All it's going to do is cause freaking mass hysteria like toilet paper. And then before you know it, nobody will be able to buy rice because the media said, we're not going to have rice.
Well, then what the mainstream media is talking about now is the price increase of rice and sugar.
It's frustrating.
Yeah. So, yeah. Hey, Mike, how's it going? We got Mike Christian. Mispronounced it. I'll just put it up there so you guys can read it. There we go.
Hi, Mike. Now, Gil's right on what you eat on your food. I tell a lot of Asians, Southeast Asians, Hispanic people, a lot of people think preppers are, sad, standard American diet. Because I had arguments with Liberty Garden, Jose from Mexico, Stefan.
Okay. There's how to pronounce it. Crasher. Mike Crasher.
Okay. Stefan from Venezuela, because a lot of preppers do standard American diet, but it doesn't translate well if you're talking to somebody from like the Philippines or from Japan or from Malaysia or Thailand. They all look at you like, we eat Spam, but not, like that. Or we're Muslims like Malaysia. We don't eat Spam. That's pig. So they have to eat mutton. they do have canned mutton and they do have corned beef. Those
Yeah.
are the two staples over there. I keep telling them, match your culture to the diet, what you eat to your culture, because a lot of people think weird things about Americans, and that is part
Hey,
of
I'm
it.
an American. And I think weird things about Americans.
But you have to be really careful on the standard American diet, because I blame Nixon for this, because he screwed up the food chart back in, when did Nixon got elected?
Sometime in the 70s. I can't
Yeah.
74 was it, or 73?
Mm, hang
Because
on.
72 was an election year, was 73?
37th President of the United States. Come on, where's the information on it here? Serving from 69 to 74.
Okay. Yeah, he screwed up the food chart because he wanted to push grains and then meat and then finally vegetables and then other stuff. He totally messed that one up.
Don't
Well,
panic.
it wasn't just him on his own. It was a lot of his advisors.
Don't panic, Marshmallow Man. Just do what you're already doing. Just can and prep for the future, but just don't panic. And yes, that's exactly what those countries are trying to do. They're trying to cut us off. They're trying to economically cripple us.
I wouldn't worry about it. They're trying to hit the lesser countries that are dependent, like third world nation countries or second world nation countries. Middle East is going to get hit really hard on sugar and rice. Here, it's like we got Michigan. They're producing enough sugar to cover
I
half
hope
the.
so.
Hey, we got Idaho, which produces more sugar than Michigan does.
All right. And
Yeah,
also
but where
potatoes.
does that get exported to? Does it stay here or do we export it somewhere else?
Here's the problem. I'm glad you asked that. Here's a problem, especially with beef. And I know this for a fact with the beef. We raise more than enough beef for all of America. Well, what do? We export most of it to other countries,
Brazil.
and then we buy, and that country exports it to a different country, and then we buy that other country's poor meats and bring it back here.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's all part of the financial thing. We'll scratch your back if you scratch ours, and this way you can, we'll buy your meat and stuff, but you got to support us in the world on the world platform.
Yeah, that's one thing that's all screwed up about things here. Like, yeah, Michigan's growing all those beets, but where are they going to export it to? They're going to export it somewhere, and then we're going to buy some country's crappy sugar, and we're not going to get those Michigan beets.
Yeah.
No.
Well, let me put it this way. It's been a while since I researched it, but about 20 years ago, C&H, all their sugar came from Hawaii or California. And so and then there was talk about them buying the because it was cane sugar. It was all cane sugar. And then some of the people were talking about, let's get some of these sugar beets. It's cheaper and stuff. We can get Idaho sugar beets. And there was a big row about it at the time. So I don't know whether they went ahead with it or whether they backed off. But I haven't seen the C&H commercials going C&H pure cane sugar anymore.
No, because they're now international corporation, and they don't do the cane sugar thing because it's too not effective, cost effective. And Gil remembers this. Remember when they blew up the Speckles and C&H sugar beet plants in Manteca? They blew up that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was off of Highway 99. I was there waving at people. But the big problem, folks, with a lot of stored foods, you have to be careful. And Winco does sell white satin sugar in humongous bags. It's like beef because of the tree huggers. It's cow farts. I had a big argument with Hubble's
I
cat
hear one
because
more thing about cow farts. I think my head's gonna explode.
I know.
Hey, I look at it this way. Back when Buffalo Bill Cody was out there killing the buffaloes, at that time there were more buffaloes in the United States than there are cows and pigs today.
Right. So where's the gas coming from all those buffalo?
Yeah,
Well,
where did it go? How come we weren't having global warming in the pre-industrial era?
right. And I have big arguments with
Yeah,
Hubble's cat because he's a meat vegetarian. I'm a meat
yeah,
eater. I like meat.
yeah,
And meat eaters, recent study shows that we live longer. Why?
yeah.
Because most meats are, if you get it fresh or like I do, I have a butcher, I get farm fresh. It's still mooing when I'm stabbing into it with my fork.
Yeah, and vegetarians now are not real vegetarians. Like,
No, or
because
vegans.
they eat, what is that? Morning Star. They have Morning Star. They
Yeah,
go
soy,
to
all the
Burger
soy
King
fake,
and get the
fake, they have
Impossible
fake
Burger.
vegetables.
Yeah, and all of that stuff is so highly processed. It is so not good for you. But
Yeah.
yeah,
No.
yeah.
Yeah, fake vegetables.
Well, not only that, I'm like, if you're 100% vegetarian and you still buy off the shelf, there's no guarantee that that food is not good for you. I mean, that's not good for you either. It's high GMOs and everything else because
Yeah.
people don't understand the difference between that and organic,
Right.
purchases. Hey, MB Heritage.
Hey, MB.
Hey, MB.
Courtney grows her own stuff. She cans it, dries it. It's all natural. So I forget the little kid.
Come on. What's his name? What's his name?
Oh, my son? Is that who you're talking
It's Fred.
Fred. That's it. I almost said Flintstone. Lord, getting old. But like I said, folks, if you don't grow it and it's not from your ground, I'd be real suspicious because the highest rates of heart attack, dementia, and diabetes comes from vegans and vegetarians.
because they eat nothing but carbs.
Right.
Yeah. So what you're storing and need to store is what you really like, what you really eat, and what's good for you. If it's not good for you, you need to think about changing up what you're eating.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't like it, even though it's good for you, and you don't like it and you're not eating it, why store it? And you got to use some common sense.
Yeah, I cannot stand corned beef hash. Like, my husband loves it, and I cannot. I don't even like to open it. I don't like to smell it. It's disgusting. I'm not gonna go to the store and buy 500 cans of corned beef hash if I'm not gonna eat it.
Yeah,
that is ridiculous.
No, what you do is you just buy a couple dozen, and you keep them in the back. And when you're going to go do something, and he's at home, you go, "Here you go, honey. Have fun. I'm out of here."
Right. But again, with corned beef hash, a lot of people don't know how to cook it.
Oh, it smells like cat food.
It is. Basically, it was cat food.
That's disgusting.
Corned beef came from Ireland. And I tell a lot of people, I could remember those devil ham cans.
Yeah.
Okay. That's corned beef. Devil spread.
Yeah.
Okay. That's corned beef ground up. And I do chopped pickles, a little mustard, a little vinegar, and it kills the smell. And plus, it comes out to a smooth, rich, creamy paste that I put it on rye bread. And you can't tell from Underwood's and my stuff. My stuff tastes better and doesn't stink like cat food.
So right there, Shadow Scout Squeak doesn't eat meat because he's allergic to it, but he eats fish.
Right.
So he would be storing all sorts of different types of fish.
But he is like one of those. He's not a vegetarian. What do they call that? A pescatarian?
Pescatarian, yeah.
Sounds like a religious organization.
Right. But I'm Asian, so you got to remember Southeast Asian, Japanese, Chinese, Korean, we eat a lot of fish. So we know the difference between cat food tuna and prime tuna in a can. Because you look at one like, gee, it's time to feed Mr. Kitty. And the other one like, oh dear Lord, how much does that can cost? Because
Yeah.
there's a big difference. Also, Europe has the same thing
Yeah.
where Jordan lives in Sweden. They have the American cat food tuna. Oh, it's bumblebee. It's time to feed the cat. And then we have the premium tuna in either freshwater or oil. And you look at that and it doesn't look the same. Same thing goes with sardines. Now, a lot of Asian people eat sardines. We eat it dry, we eat it canned. I like the Russian type, the spats. That's the little tiny one I showed you in one of the videos. They call it sardines because nobody knows what the hell a sprat is.
Yeah, Suladine, I think that's your name. Fresh tuna steak is amazing. I am not a fan of tuna from the can at all because of the way it smells.
Yeah,
But
it's part of the cooking process in canning it.
The tuna steak is completely different. Does not have that. It's a really nice fish. However, I can't afford to buy tuna steaks all the time, but it's a really nice fish.
Okay, I got to put this up here. Yucky food you never want to eat. Now even worse.
Now even worse.
Yeah, Kaylin knows about sprats because it's also part of Ukrainian and Polish culture. Sprats.
Yeah.
Covered Tyson.
It comes from the Black Sea. But a lot of people, because it depends on the culture and stuff, tuna in America, I hate to say it, it's cat food. Every place else in the world, like Asia or Europe, it's a valued commodity because they get the best choice tuna, and then Americans get the, what do you mean we have this? It's all right.
No, I think if it was mixed with something and it didn't have that horrible smell, I make it, but just to get past that smell when you open the can, no thanks.
Yeah, no, that's American. That's American tuna because I eat Mexican and I'll say French tuna and I'll say Japanese tuna and Chinese and Korean tuna. They do not smell like American tuna because you pop that thing and like, there's 40 cats coming to the backyard.
Exactly.
You know, but if you pop out open Japanese or European, it's like there's no smell.
Yeah, that's I don't know what.
Well, here's something to consider, and my wife has pointed this out, and it's true. Let me bring up the picture here. On the bottom shelf here, the green labeled cans, chunk chicken breast canned. What does that smell like when you open it up?
It smells exactly like tuna. And when I had cats, they would come to the counter when I would open that.
Yeah,
so gross.
It's part of the processing. You know what they do when they process and cook tuna, chicken, turkey. You know, here in the United States, I don't know what it is they're doing with it, but it makes it all friggin' smell the same. Now, talking about good tuna steaks. I was going to look it up. The price is ridiculous on it. In Japan, froze. In Japan, a blue fin tuna steak, 8-ounce one, is several $100s. If you can get it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because they used to have Yakuza fight with each other with swords to get the premium steaks. Because all the cat food ones go to America. Here, you can have this. It's tuna.
Yeah.
You know, but Gil's right on the processing. A lot of American processors are horrible to process chicken, beef, pork, tuna.
I don't need to buy canned chicken yet. I had my own birds last year, and I have 7 whole chickens in my freezer still. So
yeah. You know, my daughter has still has a bunch of chicken that she raised in her freezer. When my wife gets up here permanently, we'll start raising our own chickens, mainly for processing.
Right. You know who has a good video on chicken canning? Is Tammy on Rebels Canners. Have you seen that video?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would eat that chicken right out of the jar. I would not eat chicken out of a can from America. I do eat chicken canned in Japan or the Philippines because we know how to cook chicken and put it in cans.
It's Brother Donnie, Prep for Eternity Homestead.
Hey, Donnie.
Yeah, 25 is a lot north and south. Like, good luck. Like, we don't go through that much because we don't eat a whole lot of chicken. And last year we had trouble finding the meat birds. So when we bought the meat birds, we had like 10. So 10 is enough for here. I am more of a beef person. Speaking of beef, I just bought 20 pounds of it, and I bought the 90% lean like I always do. And I go to my local market and my local butcher, and it costs me $5.95 a pound, I think, or something like that. It came to like $113 for 20 pounds of hamburger.
But that's from a local butcher, so it's probably local grown.
Yes, the cows are literally right out front when you drive in.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's good stuff, but it was very expensive.
Yeah. Well, I know up here,
it.
the Sam's Club up here in Idaho Falls, the meat that they process, you can see their big butcher operation going on. The meat that they process there is local meat. And right now, so the last time I bought hamburger up there, the 90% lean was $4.57 a pound.
Mm.
Now I tell a lot of people go old school. What Courtney could do: get an electric meat grinder, buy a half a cow. If you know a dairy nearby, buy a Holstein bull calf, grow it to 6 months, shoot it in the head, chop it up, put it in the deep freezer, show Fred how to run the grinder. You know, you want hamburger? Here. Fred takes a big chunk of meat and grinds up his own hamburger. It's healthy. It's natural. Of course, nobody's going to come near your house when you're holding. Yeah, we're making hamburgers tonight with that big butcher knife.
You'd be surprised because when I was younger, that's what we used to do. Because my uncle raised cows, and we used to have butchering parties and go over there and help him make the patties and.
Yeah, but he had the electric grinder, right?
Yes.
Because I used to do it with a hand grinder. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die. I'm going to have arthritis when I'm old.
Yeah.
Try that for 4 hours. That was horrible. Also, I used to make sausage too. That was even worse.
I don't know about mixing liver, but I heard my husband told me that a lot of people mix their zucchini in with their hamburger and it stretches it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
When you do like liver, because I make liverwurst, and a lot of my family going, because I got the electric meat grinder and I put like 5 to 6 pounds of beef liver through it and kidneys and heart and grind it all up to make liverwurst. And I make a nice little brick and I smoke it. And they're looking at me like, I don't know about this, Uncle. It's good for you. And I said, you grind all other things. Well, okay, maybe 1 or 2 testicles or a penis or an eyeball or something. It's good for you. It's all ground up, all natural. No artificial fillers. Trust me, I've seen a lot of artificial fillers.
Over Miami, you know what's sad? Is that is the truth nowadays. They're already trying to lab create meat. It's out there.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is so disgusting.
Right, but you know how they grow it, because I have friends in the food biz. They use a growing medium, and you don't want to know what's in the growing medium to grow that single cell. I'm like, oh dear Lord.
And
So if you're going to be if you want grown stuff, plant a garden, grow your own food and stuff, and then you plant what you. And then here's another place where people screw up. Oh, I'm going to plant these. I really don't like this type of plant, but I'm going to plant this because people says it does good, and I can trade it to my neighbors. Well, maybe your neighbors don't like it. So you need to, when you're going to plant a garden, plant what you will eat.
Right.
If you're not going to eat Brussels sprouts, don't plant Brussels sprouts unless you got animals to feed them to that like them.
Yeah. Because a lot of people, when they look at an Asian garden and then your standard American garden, it's a whole bunch of different because we grow different plants for certain types of seasons. And it's like I was seeing one person is trying to make goza, little fried dumplings. You dip it in chili sauce and you eat it. It's all crunchy from the frying pan. They were using standard American cabbage. I'm looking at them. No, it's Chinese cabbage. And you have to know how to mix the Chinese cabbage with the sausage and the green onions and the spices. And I see people like, we'll just mash it all together we'll get some corned beef and we'll get some regular Dutch cabbage and we'll get some onions and some hot peppers. I'm looking at them. This is why a lot of people don't eat at whatchamacallit, the teddy bear Chinese restaurant, Panda something.
Panda Express.
Panda Express.
Yeah, we don't eat there. You
It's
hardly ever
expressly not real food.
especially Asians. How many Asians do you see going to Panda Express?
Never. It's American. It's Americanized Chinese food.
Right.
Well, Asians I see going to it in California, we're like third generation American Asians.
Right. We call them bananas. It's like, you're not Asians, you're bananas. Get away from me.
I would like to have my own cow. However, I don't have enough property. I have 2.5 acres. It just
you need at
wouldn't
least
work out.
5 decent. Because
Well,
go ahead.
depending what you grow, what you have on there, food wise, you can do more. When I bought this property from Brandon, this is a 1 acre lot. Only a third of it was he was using to raise cows on it here, and he had 4 cows on it, but he had big bales of hay and alfalfa out there. Before I bought the property across the street, he was leasing most of the property around the house over there, and was raising 20 or 30 cattle over there, and that gave him about 4 acres of land to raise those on. And he didn't feed them; they grazed over there only. The neighbor on the backside here has a 1 acre back lot, and he's got a cow, a calf, and a horse out there, and they don't eat everything down. Come wintertime, when he pulls them off there and moves them elsewhere, there's still food out there to be grazed on by animals.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
like I said, I always do 5 acres because I divide it up in 5 different lots, and you rotate that because you reseed one lot and then you push them to the other lot. My biggest headache is cutting down brush.
yeah.
And Gil knows what I'm talking about.
Well, that's where you get goats in there too, and you get meat goats like the
Nubians.
no, like the
Arabians?
the boar goats, and the what's the other one? Tip of my tongue. It's the ones that Arms Family Homestead has, because they're from Australia. They are very parasite resistant, and because only the tough ones survive, so they're genetically stronger, and they'll eat all sorts of brush.
Right. WD's in the house. Hey, WD.
Yep. But
like I said, I hate brush. Between the tumbleweeds and the damn, you know what I'm talking about, Gil. Mesquite. I hate mesquite. I need Courtney's flamethrower. Go out there and burn those damn things.
Just don't set California on fire. Okay.
I'm trying to.
And when the news organization comes around and say, I saw Gavin Newsom out here with a torch.
Yep. But like I said, folks, if you do beef, all you have to do is contact a farmer or a cattle rancher, because they usually have extra cows, and they do like Courtney's. It was your uncle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they'll have whole meat parties, and I usually, because I know a lot of dairy guys around here, I get a half a cow or a half a bowl. And it's like, of course, it scares the hell out of my family because they don't like the processed meat. I enjoy it. It doesn't bother me. And they looked in the refrigerator. Did I ever tell you about the Kool-Aid story when I was a kid?
I think so.
I was one of the older live stream. I was doing a goat's head, and my grandnieces and nephews opened the thing. I already had the skin peeled, and I was going to pickle it. And they saw it. The eyeballs were sticking out, and they're all screaming. They dropped the pitcher of Kool-Aid, going. And I ran out of the whatchamacallit, the garage, because I have a big refrigerator to salt, ferment, and pickle stuff. And they saw that next to the Kool-Aid, and they were freaking out. And they were crying, running home, going, ah.
Yeah. So
you got to try that with Fred,
yeah.
Courtney. Have a pickled goat's head in the fridge.
Yeah, that would freak him out.
Yeah. One of the things you can do when you're storing what you eat is canning your own food.
Mm-hmm.
Courtney has posted several things about the pickles.
Oh man, my pickles this year are so good. I can't stop eating them. And I got only so many jars. I'm like, I gotta stop eating them. But oh my gosh, they're so good.
Yeah. And canning is easy to do. Rebel Canners is a great channel to go to. Water bath. And contrary to what certain corporations have convinced the FDA to put out about you have to pressure can a lot of stuff. Check with the Amish. The Amish water bath everything. My grandmother water bath everything. No one died. My great grandmother water bath everything. Nobody died. So, but you
just have to do it for longer.
Yeah, right. It takes. You got to do it for the proper amount of time. If you're going to do a beef stew, it's 4 hours of water bath canning time, and you got extra water there to keep topping off the water bath. There's pressure canners.
Right.
For those of you who don't know what a pressure canner is, those are it's faster ways to preserve your food versus an open kettle like water bath. When you water bath, it takes forever, especially if you're doing meat or something like that. It's
vegetables, low acid things take about 4 to 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
Right. Also, folks, you got to understand when you're doing water bath, you have to be careful what altitude you're at. That's why they invented pressure canners, because a lot of people goof that one up. And that's why you get summer poisoning.
Back to storage stuff here, throw in. Label, if you do bulk buckets of stuff, label it. You know, what year you bought it, what year you put it in there. Some people do year and month. But you want to keep that stuff up so you can rotate what you're storing.
Oh. And you guys, you don't have to go out and buy a really expensive pressure canner. All Americans cost a lot of money. You can get a Presto. I have a Presto, and they're like $120 for the big ones. I mean, they're not very much, and you can use those just the same. They just require extra parts. Right.
Or you get to know people or go to estate sales. And a friend of ours back in California, when his wife passed away, he waited about 9 months and he started getting rid of all the canning stuff. He gave my wife about probably 60, 70 jars and her all-American canner.
Wow.
It's like, wow.
I have an all-American, but it only takes pints. Like it's a real small one.
Yeah.
But I live in an area where there are a lot of old timers and a lot of thrift stores. I go rummaging through the thrift store and I find canners left to right and I repurpose it and resell it. I pick up the canner. Some kid behind the counter at the thrift store doesn't know what it is. I'll pick up a Presto and I say, I'll give you $15 cash for this clunky old thing right here. And I'll take it out of the store, fix it up, resell it on eBay. I made some money. Yeah. It's a Presto. Do you know how much those things go on eBay?
Yeah.
I bought my All-American at a flea market for $20.
Yeah. I got my mom's 21 quart Presto. I had to do some little repair work on it because the Melmac handles on it, it got dropped and it cracked and the handle broke off. But it has both the jiggler and the gauge on it. So I can set the jiggler to, it came with a 15-pound jiggler, but I can get the 3-part one, which gives you a 5-pound, 10-pound, or 15-pound setting on the jiggler, and it works great. You don't have to stand it. You can listen to the thing jiggling while you're doing stuff in the other rooms and listen to it, and you know it's not over pressurizing.
Yeah.
Right. The only thing you have to worry about when you're repurposing the pressure canners is the dial gauge. You have to send it in to get it properly tuned to your pressure cooker, because a lot of people goof that one up, and I tell people that's really playing with fire if you goof up the gauge.
That,
Yeah.
and you can go to, I don't know if you guys have them here or there or wherever, but you can go to your extension office and you can go to Ace Hardware and you can get those dials tested to see if they actually work. So if you buy one at the flea market or something like that and you're not sure, you can go to like the hardware store and you can go to your local extension office and they'll test it out just to see if it.
You can also buy from the manufacturer brand new replacement gauges ready to screw on and ready to go.
Hey,
So you can, if you have an All-American, you can contact All-American and buy the gauge. If you have a Presto, you can buy a gauge from Presto.
Hey, Howie.
Howie, Food Forest Permaculture is in the house.
Yeah, we're just now north and south. We're just now getting our tomatoes. I'm selling them 2 for $1.50. And then I looked, and then my gardener's selling them for $3 a tomato. And then some people out in California are saying they're getting them for $5 a tomato. So I'm just gonna stick with 2 for $1.50 or $2 a pound. I'm going to the local farmers market in the next couple weeks, and I'm going to sell them. But we'll see.
Yeah. Courtney could make more money where I'm at because I keep telling people we had UV radiation level 9, and half our tomato crops got one side is fried, burnt black. I showed it on a video. It burned the tomato. It was almost ripe, and then where the sunshade didn't cover, it got fried. I mean, somebody took a blowtorch to it because I talked to another group from what was it? South Dakota, Lisa's. And I told Lisa, you don't need sunshade. You're in South Dakota. You're getting UV radiation like 5. I'm getting 9. I don't need a dehydrator. I just throw things on the ground and it dries by itself. Because
now, if I shipped my tomatoes to California, I would probably make something.
Oh,
but
yeah, big time.
If I grew them in California, I'd probably have a heart attack trying to keep them shaded.
Shaded, bugs. It's like my plants are like it. This year was horrible for tomatoes. Worse on cucumbers because it totally fried all the cucumber plants.
And they hate this. They hate that.
Yeah, because tomatoes and cucumbers and bell peppers do not grow after 85 degrees. A lot of people don't know it. Howie knows it. I know it. But when it gets like 110, 115, plants cook inside the container or raised bed or in the ground. Because I've been trying to grow potatoes for years, and it's like, ugh.
Yeah, my wife, well, she's cut back the number of plants she's growing, especially this year because she's so busy at work. But her tomatoes are set up where she grows them so that part time of the day, and especially during the noonday hour thing, it's in the shade of the tree. So it has mid-morning sun, then shade, then late afternoon sun, and then more shade. But yeah, she keeps it, and that's where she grows the tomatoes. Now the squash, out in the full sun, And that stuff goes, I mean, it gets 105, and that stuff's just going absolutely nuts there in California.
Right. If you get Howie, Food Forest Permaculture, he tells you the best growing medium because he lives in a temperate rainforest.
Mm-hmm.
It's 80 degrees is the best and 60% humidity. That's ideal for any kind of tomato, cucumber. Courtney's area is roughly like that, a little hotter, a little colder, a little moisture, but it's that where you get beautiful cucumbers. I only got a cucumber about because all the UV radiation is like,
Dude,
and
I
the
ate so
bugs.
many cucumbers this year. It's insane. Like, I was like, they're still coming on out there, even though my cucumber plants look like crap. They're still like thriving, and I'm still getting cucumbers. And I'm like, oh, I just eat them nonstop.
Right, but the only bugs that really kills Courtney plants is wireworm. You know those little holes and it like look like little veins in the leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she got wireworms. I tell a lot of people you have to put like you go to the drugstore, get a magnesium tablets and calcium tablets, and you stick it next to the plant. It's an old trick, and what
Right.
it does, it
Issue I
drives the
had this year was with cucumber bugs and squash bugs.
all right.
Driving me crazy this year.
I have a trap for those, but my mother hates it because when I put it out, the jars turn black from the dead beetles. They like a certain odor scent, and I'm not giving it out. That's one of my trade secrets. You could fight it. I tell a lot of people, remember the chive spray, chive and garlic spray?
Yeah,
You
that's
spray
what I
that.
use on my plants. Yeah.
They hate that. You mix in a little Dawn detergent in it. If you get the beetles young enough, it suffocates them because they can't breathe and they're repelled by the smell. So you get rid of them two ways.
My
There's a
husband was so mad at me because I made a garlic tea to put on everything. And he's like, oh my God, you're stinking up the porch. It smells so bad. You need to take care of that. And I'm like, I can't help it. I'm like, I want to put it on the plants.
Well, spray some on Dustin. It's a new cologne, honey. Odor Day garlic.
All right, Mike, thanks for coming in. And
Bye,
we'll be wrapping up here in a few minutes here. All right, so I've been putting some links in there to Howie's channel, Garden State Gardener, Old School Prepper, and the last one is Palmetto Prepared. That's Anthony down there in the Carolinas. And Anthony actually grows a lot of food, and he cooks a lot of food. Oh, he loves to cook. So some good channels to check out different things and on stuff like that. So, but I'm going to come over here. So, Courtney, when is the next time you go live?
Tomorrow night.
What time?
7 p.m. Eastern Standard. And I believe me and the Marshmallow Man are going live together.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, cool. So that's tomorrow night, 7 p.m., White Family Farm, Eastern Time. You get these two down here. Friday, you go live at what time Friday?
Friday.
Are you doing the blue ribbon this Friday?
I don't think so. It depends on Tammy when she gets internet, and I think she's at her off-grid location right now.
At the cabin.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I was planning on driving to California just before this came up, and I was talking to Al about 15 minutes before that. My wife called. My youngest son, who volunteers at the California Railroad Museum in Sacramento, that's what we call it, tested positive for the Red Dragon. He also works security over in Oakland at down by the big business district down there near the waterfront and stuff. But yeah, so he came home early, not feeling well today, and he's in bed, and they did a test and it came back positive. But hey, as that cheap test does, it tests for any type of corona. And so
he could have common cold, and
exactly. and it could be anything else, and he just be under the weather. So my wife saw watching things how it's going. She may or may not come up now. She may push it off a week, depending what goes on. How it is.
Well,
I told her
she gets a chance to come up because I know she wants to so bad.
Oh yeah, she has a lot of stuff. And the thing is, I was going to head there on Friday. We were going to load the truck up with a whole bunch of stuff, all the rest of the stuff for the China cabinet, a bunch of other things she has, and she was going to have her car loaded, and we were going to come back up here and unload everything.
Don't forget the lime, Kaylin. Need a lime with that Corona beer.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if what's going on this weekend. If she's not feeling well, then I'm not heading down. But if she's fit, I'm fine. He's back on his feet, doing good. It was something else. Hopefully, it's a 24-hour bug.
Yeah.
That just happened. It happened. Just happened to test positive for that cheap broad spectrum test. And so, but if I go down, I will be not broadcasting or doing a live stream on Friday. So next Monday, the topic is supposed to be about your spouse. If she's not here, I'm going to change it up. Next Tuesday, and that's on Camp Patton Found the Compound. Next Tuesday here on GrayMan is Don't Just Survive, Thrive. So we're talking about several things that you not to do so you're not just surviving, you're actually growing and thriving in a disaster situation, not just disaster, a major collapse of things. So
store what you eat, guys, and yes. I hope you learned something from that, not to pack 500 cans of corned beef hash.
The big thing I want to tell everybody, learn how to cook. If you watch my short, I made a sausage pie, and also I made tabbouleh, which is what Courtney has a lot of: tomatoes, parsley, and cucumbers. It's a refreshing salad. You could use either lime or lemon. Squeeze it over it, because I made a bowl, and I chopped air fried chicken on top of it. And it's beautiful. It's easy to make. It's cool. It's not hot, except for the air fried chicken. But it's a nice summer dinner.
Yeah.
All right. And I make a lot of it.
Speaking of something like that, something my wife makes a lot of time. I keep forgetting the name of the specific type of noodle. It's kind of curly around a little bit as it goes around, and it's about like that long and about that big around, and it's all spiral done and stuff. She uses that.
Rotini.
She uses that and tomatoes, a homemade pesto, and cooks it all up. Sometimes she'll chop up some chicken and put into it. Sometimes hot, sometimes cold on the chicken. Oh, that's just, I mean, she'll make this big, huge container. And the boys will have big bowls of it and go back and get seconds and sometimes thirds before she chases them out of the kitchen.
Right. It's a rotini salad. It's very easy to make. The recipe's on Bing. Just write down rotini and you put summer salad on it, and it'll show it up. I know how to do the cold one. You need the rotini noodles, boil it up, and then you could add tomatoes, cucumbers, olives.
And then you run ice water over it to cool down the pasta really quick. And then you add the other stuff to it.
Right, because you don't want to do it hot.
A couple things I wanted to mention here. In your storing, if you're storing a lot of stuff in freezers, make sure you have a way to keep those freezers going during a brownout or a power outage. Whether it's a simple little power station, you have a couple solar panels to charge it up, keep it going, or whether you have a generator, whatever, you want to be able to, you don't want to lose that stuff that you have in that freezer. One of the things that I did a year and a half ago, when the Sam's Club here had some really inexpensive 90% lean beef, ground beef, I just did 1 pound packages of hamburger, cooked it up, packaged it, froze it. And what I've been doing lately is I'll take one of those out and I'll take a jar of pasta sauce, mix it together, and then I'll flavor it a little bit more. The last one I did, I put a couple tablespoons of cumin. Yes, I said a couple tablespoons of cumin in there. Some taco seasoning, some onions, garlic, more stuff in it. Cooked it up, and then I just take out a cup worth. I had a low carb tortilla. Plop it on there, some grated cheese on it. Toss it in the microwave for 30 seconds, and just go sit in front of the TV and watch my movie. After I'm done eating, I get up off the couch, get on the Gazelle, and I work that dinner off. But it's only a cup worth of that stuff, and the one thing made about a week's worth of meals. So, and I love it. My wife loves it. The boys will eat that stuff. You know, store what you eat what you store. Especially with what's going on now with the processing plant. So, if you love bacon, get to the store and get your bacon now, because price on bacon and ham is going to go up really fast.
Or a butcher that butchers locally, because a pound of bacon where I get it, $5.99, folks, and that's real bacon, not the store. Like, I look at store bought and like, no, that's not real bacon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also buy that. I buy everything from my local butcher. It's expensive, but I know what it is.
Yeah, I get.
Yeah, there's no additives or nitrates or any weird stuff.
Yeah, you have to basically freeze it or cook it. It even says on every label, freeze it or cook it within 24 hours.
Yeah, I get real bacon. It's $10 a package, but it's in one of those freezer packages where you can freeze it. It's like the 6 mil stuff, so it's thicker than the real bacon in the stores, so it's worth the $10 a package.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have my daughter 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, from one of the people here in town who raises cattle, bought a steer from him, and they told her, all right, we'll take, this is what it's going to cost you from us. And we'll take it out there, and this is usually what the guy charges. They took it, because they took several at one time, out to the butcher. And the butcher got and just processed right through, boom, 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 right through them. And then hung the meat for the 2-week period, whatever. Then processed it up and made the ground beef and everything else. And he called my daughter. He goes, "Where, you're the friend of April's that got the meat. Yeah. What town are you in? I'm based on just a couple blocks from April's." He goes, "Oh, I'll bring it home tonight." So he just brought it back and dropped it off to them. I mean, that's good service.
Yep. That's the butcher you want.
Mm-hmm.
And also, when they hang the beef, it's either aging or seasoning the beef, because you cannot eat raw beef off the bone, because it has to marble and drain properly.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't, it's going to be like, I could do it, and that's why I have bad teeth. But anybody else does that, they're going to like, I'm going to be sick.
Yeah. Certain meats need to cure and hang to facilitate their being better edible. All right, folks, I want to thank Marshmallow for coming up here, Courtney White Family Farm, and Uncle Al at Die Bullfrog 79 for coming up here and helping out with us tonight. I hope you all gained something about it. I'm going to try to get start doing some recordings for the Your Prep for today and get some. I got about 40 topics to do, so I got to start doing it. And if you have a topic for either this channel of preparedness or anything else, or my Camp Patton Family Compound for gardening stuff, if you have a topic you want to cover it on whichever channel it is, send me an email. Let me throw it up here real quick. Go ahead and send it to the Camp Patton Family Compound email, because that one's always up on this computer all the time. And tell me, hey, this is a topic I think you should do on GrayManPrepping, or this is a topic for CFC, and we'll, I'll add it to the list. All right, so everyone, remember, stay happy no matter what life throws at you. Stay safe. Don't go out and do anything foolish. Keep adding to your preps. Water, food, medicine, clothing, whatever else it is that you're going to need to survive and thrive. All right. Take care, and we will see you around. Remember, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, White Family Farm. And now we see how long